Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you so much for coming on. I so appreciate you come on taking some time out of your day to come on my podcast. I truly appreciate you taking time to come on. I'm such a massive fan of yours and I love your work, so this means so much to have you on.
You're so sweet, Kylie. Thank you. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Oh, of course, of course. Well, I'll be doing like a little intro, and then I'll ask you a couple questions. It'll take about a half hour at least, depending on the interview. And
Sure.
so like I don't know I don't know how much questions I have. It's kind of to keep track of the questions. So I'll be doing a little kind of small intro and then I'll have you introduce yourself. Then we can just go down from there.
Perfect.
All right, you ready to get started?
Yes.
All right. Hello everyone. Welcome back to episode 14 of Talk of Fame podcast. I'm Kylie. If you haven't noticed, we have the wonderful actress Aria Sirvaitis with us today. Instead of me introducing you, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us more about what you do?
Yes. So I'm a model and actress, and I recently started writing and producing as well. I've been working in the film industry for about 8 or 9 years. I've traveled all around the world. I'm originally from Europe, but I grew up in Cleveland. Moved to LA a while ago, and just been pursuing my dream.
I love that. Like since you said you were doing acting, producing, modeling, what is like your favorite thing to do? Like what is your favorite like kind of job you do while doing acting and modeling and all of that?
So acting is definitely my biggest passion. That's kind of why what attracted me in the industry in the first place. I just love telling stories, honestly. I'm very passionate about um, just making people laugh, making people cry, inspiring others, and communicating things to people, changing their perspectives in ways that they didn't even realize they could have. Like cinema is so powerful, and I'm kind of every year I'm in this industry, I'm like learning to harness it more, and it's just so cool, like how powerful it really can be. So my favorite part of my job is just telling stories and moving the audience, truly.
Yeah, I love that. Like that's really the reason I like kind of started this whole podcast thing is because I wanted to inspire people and that they can do anything. Like because I always kind of wanted to be part of the industry, but I didn't know like what part I wanted to be in.
Mhm.
Like I tried like many things like acting and so many other things, and I was like, I don't think this is my thing. I don't know if I'm this is not really
Oh,
my thing. But like I just knew like I wanted to be somewhere in the industry. I don't know if I want to be in front of the camera, behind the camera, or what I want to do. So
mhm.
I started like, oh, maybe I should do a podcast. Because like I have two people on my dad's side that do journalists. Like they do journalism for my news station local. So I was like, oh, maybe I try it. Like these, but like every time I see my family, they always say like, oh, you'll be so good at that. You'll be so good. And I was like, maybe I didn't. I was like, all right. Because I didn't kind of take it serious at first. I was like, all right, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. And then like once COVID hit, once we were stuck in quarantine, I was like, oh, maybe I should try it. That's kind of when I got like kind of like when it came to my mind. So I was like, oh, maybe I should try it. If I don't like it, I don't like it. So like once I tried it, like I started early April of this year. And
Oh,
I
no.
was like, after the first episode, I really liked it. Then after kind of, I didn't know if it was this kind of specific that episode. So I was like, oh, I'll do a couple more of the episodes, and I was like, oh, this is kind of my thing now, I guess. So I like kept going, and like the support I've been getting, I like kind of no words to describe like what I got, like support and people like get to meet like you and so many other people and be able to talk with you guys and be able to be friends for a long time, which kind of that's really the most important thing for me is to be able to talk to you guys and be able to bond you guys and kind of learn about like what you guys do and kind of bond over what what you guys do and see what other people's success in their lives.
You're doing such a great job. I'm so proud of you, Kylie. You're wonderful. Oh,
Thank you. You are too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So
yeah.
over the last year in the US, we've been stuck at home due to COVID-19. What is one thing they did that you had time to do before COVID hit?
I'd say definitely starting my script. I'm writing a feature film currently, and during COVID, I had a lot of time to do that. Um, Also, I kind of I mean, this isn't very productive, but I started playing more video games too.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Me too. Did you do the
Yeah.
Animal Crossing Nintendo Switch?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me
I
too.
used to be obsessed with that game a couple years ago. I used to be obsessed playing Animal Crossing.
Oh, did you have all the other versions like Nintendo 3DS and stuff like
Yeah.
that? Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, did you play any other games besides Animal Crossing, or is just Animal Crossing?
I got really good at Mortal Kombat too.
Oh,
So if
really?
anyone wants to challenge me, I don't know. I'm kind of unbeatable at this point, but
Yeah,
yeah.
me too. Me
Yeah.
too.
Oh, you too? All right, I'll have to fight you sometime.
Yeah, 100%. Just text me like whenever you're free and I'll play it. Like we can do something. So
Awesome.
over like the last year, we had like a lot of free time since we've been at home so much. Is there any shows or movies that you binge watch over quarantine?
Oh, yes. Okay, so I binge watched Lucifer on Netflix. Also, I watched a show called Dead to Me and The Witcher. Oof, I love The Witcher. That was such a good
Oh,
show. Have you
love
seen
it. Like I want to. I want to. That's on my list. Have you watched Grey's Anatomy? I want to ask anyone like anyone I guess they watch like Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy? So, I know so much about the show. I just never really had the chance. I never like got into it. I haven't watched it actually. Should I? Should I watch it? I probably should.
In my opinion, I definitely would recommend watching it. But
Okay.
like I started doing watching over the quarantine because like over the last month, my whole family got COVID, so I had to was home for almost a month and stuff. And like I only watched season 11 over the last year because I'm a huge Gina Davis fan. Like she's the reason I'm doing this because of her, and she like it's my dream to have her on. And like now she's on season 11 Grey's Anatomy, so I was like, oh, I'll just watch this. But
Oh,
then like once I got stuck at home, like quarantine, my whole family getting it, including me. So I was like, oh, why not just start from the beginning and try to watch it? Because my friend kind of got me into it when we watched this. I was like, oh, why not watch it? Then I immediately became obsessed. Like I was like,
oh,
I literally watched like 3 seasons while I was in like quarantine. Like I just watched 3 seasons. Like I just couldn't get my eyes off this.
that's awesome.
Like that's really the only thing that kind of got me through quarantine. Basically.
Oh, see, that's what the power of cinema and the power of shows, like, it's so good. It gets people through like a world crisis. Like, that's what made us stay sane, kind of in a way, We got some
Yeah,
good
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Speaking of movies and shows, you're an actress yourself. So before we dive into your career, I want to ask what made you want to begin acting?
Oh, that's a good question. So, I've wondered this for a while, like a lot of people have asked me, but I can't remember an exact moment of when I'm like, this is it. I kind of knew from when I was like a kid. I mean, I've always been inspired by seeing, those people play around in those little boxes that you call TVs. And I just was like inspired. I don't know. Like I've all my life, I just knew. I just knew.
I love that. Like I always kind of bit like loved TV. I always loved like I always sat in front of TV. I was like, I love this. So a couple of years ago, like I actually wanted to be an actor. Like I was like, maybe this is my thing. Like, oh, like I asked my parents, I was like, oh, maybe this is my thing. They're like, Kylie, do you know that this is a hard business to get into? I'm like, because it's like all like people treating kind of female and everything about in the industry. It's hard to like be in the industry. So I was like, yeah, but if I don't like it, I don't like it. I tried. And after like I do cyber schools, like they have like a bunch of kind of classes for like theater and acting and all of that. So, like
Amazing.
I tried it last year and I was like, oh, maybe it's not my thing. Like I didn't know if it's just like cyber from doing it online or like it was like in or I should do it in person and actually learn about it. I was like, oh, I don't know about this anymore. I don't know about
And
this.
that's okay. And that's why you try. You want to be in the industry in some way, but you don't necessarily have to be in front of the camera. And sometimes, it's all a team effort. There's no way somebody could be in front of the camera if there wasn't all this work done behind the scenes. I mean, there's so much going on, and there's no way one person can do everything. So, I mean, writers, producers, directors, journalists, people like you, like you're so talented, I can tell. And I think, you should be involved in some way if you're passionate about the industry itself, you know. And maybe eventually you like acting and then you could try it out, whatever you want. The world's
Yeah,
really
100%. Yeah, like there's like a bunch of journalists like always like interview like kind of people behind the scenes when they're like maybe like before when they're filming on the set. Like that's kind of what I kind of wanted to do because I can actually kind of meet people that like kind of like their experience, or I can like interview people in sports or something. Because I always come from kind of like a sports family, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll do that. Like I know I kind of want to be part of like everything basically to try to do something. And my family like Kylie, you will be perfect at that. I'm like, maybe you have to see.
you're natural. It's so easy to talk to you. You're great, Kylie. Seriously, you
Oh,
are.
thank you. You're great. Thank you so much. It means so much. So like you played with like so many actors and actresses in your career. What actor or actress did you have like the most fun like working with?
Ooh. So I would say there's this wonderful actress named Liz Fenning. She's done a lot of movies. I just did a Lifetime movie with her, and she played my mother. And I've Kylie, when I say that she's like one of the best actresses I've ever worked with, like I mean it. She's just so phenomenal. Um, you know, when you're acting and you're doing a scene, it's so important to be present and just to be locked in. And with her, I was just so emotionally there. It was so easy to portray these emotional scenes between mother and daughter. So I just had such a blast working with her on that Lifetime movie.
Yeah, I love that. Like what was like your favorite kind of experience like working with her?
I would say, I mean, I love a good drama, and when there were some emotional scenes where my character, she kind of breaks down, or she's almost like she fights with her mom, she breaks down, she needs her mother for support. I'd say that it was definitely just doing those specific kind of scenes with her, like that was really emotionally powerful.
Oh, I love
And
that.
you'll see. I can't reveal too much, but you'll see when you watch.
Yeah, yeah. Let me like, is it an episode like come air yet, or it hasn't aired yet?
So it's a TV movie on Lifetime, and it'll air probably sometime this fall. They're in post-production right now, and they don't have like an exact date, but um, I'll post about it whenever we find out, and it's probably just gonna be at the end of this year.
All right, yeah, I'll then make sure to check it out. Excited for that. So like you've been like in the industry for a while. What is your favorite thing about being in the industry? Because sometimes it can be a hard place to be in.
Oh, Kylie, you're absolutely right when you say it could be hard. I mean, this industry is full of opportunities. I believe if there's a will, there's a way. Sometimes, though, this industry really tests your patience, and you just want to be like, I have done so much. I want to be here. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like, why didn't I get this project? Why didn't I book this audition? And so many times I had to like fight with myself. And I realized honestly, like, I was kind of stopping my own success by like overthinking. And I realized like this industry, um, just relax, do your best, don't overthink. And my favorite part of it is that you are able to do whatever you want. Just don't get in your own way, type of thing. Um, yeah, like it's really there's just an endless amount of opportunity. You can write your own projects. You can act. You can do all these things. You can do this on that project. But you could do something else on a different project. I mean, and there you make friends. You make all sorts of people from all sorts of walks of life, and you get to travel. You get to experience different cultures when you're on a set that's, for example, in Prague, a set that's in Australia or Costa Rica. Like when can you truly immerse yourself in a different culture other than on a film set pretending that like this is your life, this is where you're supposed to be? It's just kind of like I'm babbling a little bit, but I'm just so like I love it. I love the movie experience that like if for example like if you're I mean if you're filming somewhere in Australia and you're a journalist, you get to be a journalist like truly for those couple months, and then afterwards you do a different project and you're completely someone else, you're like a murderer or whatever, you get to live in the shoes of a murderer in England. It's just like you get to live your dream, you get to live your imagination. It's like a dream in real life type of thing.
Yeah, I love that. Like that's like one like the best things about acting is that you can travel the things you kind of wanted to go to. Like you can do like you want to see some places, like say England, you can also act with people that you enjoyed or just kind of learn about while you act.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
And like you said, overthinking. Like I'm like also like I'm very like overthinker. If people may or may not know, if I'm very bad overthinker, and like I very overthink like over this process with the podcast. Like I always think about like how am I going to get a lot of views on this post? Like, why am I not getting a lot of views? Like, I want to say I worked hard on this episode. This work episode meant a lot, like to me and stuff. And like, I don't get a lot of views. So I'm like, is there something wrong with me? Like, I was thinking myself, is there something wrong with me?
No, and see, I learned that, Kylie, throughout my years. I was the same exact way, and I learned that and it's not a bad trait. It roots from perfectionism, and there's nothing wrong with perfectionism, but it harms you when you do overthink, and it causes anxiety. So I learned that when I do the work, I prepare as much as I can, and then inevitably you can't really always control like what's about to happen or what's going to happen. All you can do is your best in that moment. And then that way you live with no regrets. But I notice myself when I'm out of my head and I'm kind of like, okay, I did the work, and then I just get to play, just have fun, and kind of approach things with a playful attitude. Like that usually brings out my best self, because it kind of like unlocks my soul. And then like I kind of just like I'm more free and I'm not in my own chains, because you end up chaining yourself when you do overthink type of thing. But it's hard. It's actually an addiction. I learned it's an addiction to overthink years
Yeah,
ago, and
me
I've like
too.
been trying to break that. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like the best thing, like if you like think like, oh, people gonna see like a lot of this movie that I'm in, like it only cares about like, your happiness, really. It doesn't matter if you did good in this movie or just good. You're supposed to get like a lot of views, but then get as big as it was supposed to. Like that's kind of like what's the point of like kind of like being an actor, being a journalist or a singer, is that like you just want to have fun. Like you dreamed of being this awesome singer. You just trying to start out and like you just need, it kind of takes time. That's kind of what people say to me. It does take time. It doesn't matter if you're perfect. It doesn't matter if you look different. It doesn't matter if your personality is different. It doesn't matter if people are trying to be like you. Like like I always get that. Like people always say like, oh, be this way or be that way, be look like this person. I'm like, think of myself like you can be anything you want. Like that's like a lot of people in the industry get. Like you have to look a specific way. And like you have to be look like this. You have to be this person that you're not really am. And like I've been getting like I hate a lot of hate saying like, oh, you're mean, you're trouble, all this stuff.
Oh, don't listen to those
I'm thinking
people.
myself, like, you don't even know me. Like, do you know who, if you really knew me, who I am, then you like didn't say any of those things. Like, I want to make up a lie saying, like, oh, you're trouble. I'm thinking to myself, like, if you knew me, if I knew you, I wouldn't do such a thing at all. I'll just keep it to myself. Like, bro, like, what did I do to you, man?
Seriously. You know, at the end of the day, people who judge or people who say things like that, it's their problem, not yours. Because if you're in a happy state of mind, you're not going to go and judge someone or critique them. Usually, when people say something bad about someone else, it actually is a reflection of their own insecurities. So it's really a them issue. So just, you know, eyes on the prize, keep moving forward. And honestly, when you do something you're happy and passionate about, success follows. And if you don't worry about the result and focus on the journey and kind of just enjoy the process and find happiness in everything you do, it doesn't matter the views, doesn't matter what, it will follow. That's the irony of it. It's kind of like when you're looking for love, you're not going to find it. But when you're just like, I'm not looking for anything, it just like, there you go, soulmate type of thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like there's like a bunch of like actors out there in the industry. What do you look up to? Do you look up to anyone in your career that's like still here or not here?
I do. Ooh, okay. So I I know this is bad on my part. I should have seen this movie a lot earlier, but I recently saw The Godfather. And
Wow.
Brando, he is phenomenal. I can't believe I did not see that movie before. I know he's no longer with us, but his acting is just like it's absolutely phenomenal how he transforms into that character. He was only 47 when he played Don Vito. It's just wow. You know who I really like? Gerard Butler.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic. Phantom of the Opera, P.S. I Love You, those movies, when he acts in those. I don't know if you've seen those. Have you seen those two?
Yeah, I seen Phantom Opera.
Oh, I mean, although he's technically not a professionally trained opera singer, just the amount of passion that he exerts in his songs is just like, it's so moving. It's almost like, to me, I almost prefer it more than the theatrical release, because it's just, you can like see it in his eyes, and it's just so, he's
It's
phenomenal.
like so like moving to like yeah.
Yeah. And of course
I
a lot of,
totally agree.
yes, and I love a lot of female celebrities as well. Jennifer Lawrence, I think she's, oh my gosh, something about her, when I watch her act, I just get phased. I'm just like, this, she is so good. She's
Yeah,
I
same
would
here.
die to work alongside you too. Yeah, I would die to work alongside her.
Yeah, me too. I would love to meet Jennifer Lawrence. Like, there's so many people that I look up to in my career, like with journalism, like Patrick Dempsey, Hugh
Oh,
Jackman, Gina
yeah.
Davis, Luke Evans. Like, there's so many people. Like, those are my main people that I look up to. I adore all of them. I love them more than I can explain. They're all the reason I do what I do. They kind of inspired me to keep going because last year has been really rough for me.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I dealt with anxiety my whole life, and I just recently got diagnosed with anxiety disorder in March of this year. I had to put on meds for it and stuff, and it was very hard. Like, I didn't want to do anything. I was always kind of depressed. Like, I was kind of going through depression and
Mhm.
anxiety disorder, but I didn't like kind of want to admit I was depressed because like I didn't want to make people like kind of worried about me. That's kind of like the last thing I wanted to do, is make people worried, because like I always kind of, ever since I was little, I kind of hated being kind of like center of attention. And I just never liked that. So I was like, oh, I keep myself. If I'm ready to open up to people about it, I will open up. And so like I felt this kind of was the right time to open up to my family and tell them like what I had been through. Research like it was really rough being mostly in this quarantine that you had to stay home and stay like being stuck at home, not really doing anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was rough. I was kind of like after a while, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I can't deal with this. And like I felt no one was like kind of there for me. No one had like picked me up whenever I needed to pick me up. Like there's some days I had good days, some I had bad, but like some while I'm over the last year, like there is like I had received phone calls from family saying that like, there's that like they kind of gave me like they didn't know that I've been kind of going through this. So like, they kind of like I didn't say it unless I kind of wanted to let them know. And they like over the last year, even in quarantine too, like when I was stuck in quarantine with COVID, my family called me, check up on me. Like it's just like the little things that kind of like make me happy. Like when my
Oh,
Robert called me, and if Robert, you're seeing this, I love you so much and you're the best. You helped me save me through some of my tough like this quarantine. And he called me, like I called him and he called me. And now he was like, Kylie, like you look good, like you look well, like you like look better than like some people will about having COVID. Like you'll get through this, like I promise. This says some like encouraging words to me that I never kind of thought I would hear, because I was like, I hate being quarantined. Like I just want to leave this house. Like I hate it. Like I was kind of never used to being home, stuck at home, because like I'm usually like kind of like going outside, going for walks. I can still go outside. But like I usually go on walks with my friends, go do stuff, go outside, play with my see family and friends. But then I got quarantined, I couldn't do that. I couldn't see anyone. So I was like in being stuck in one room. And I was like, I hate this. Like I never felt this way before. I was bored on my mind. But when my cousin Robert told me all those encouraging words to me, I was like, I'm gonna get through this. Like I'm got like that's like the like when my I was talking to my family and stuff calling me out, I was like, this is like the encouragement I needed. Like since like after that, I was like, I'll get through this. Like I got this. Like he really
that's
gave me
great.
inspiration. And Robert, if you're watching this, I love you so much. I'll see you soon.
Oh, Kylie, that's such a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, of
Wow.
course.
You're so amazing, and I'm so happy that you have amazing people in your life. You know, you're so blessed and you're so loved, and I can see why people love you because you're such a wonderful human being. I really feel that from you. Although we're not in the same room, I feel that. So oh my gosh, God bless your heart.
Oh, thank you so much. You're the sweetest person ever. Thank you so much. You have the most beautiful heart. I love you so much already.
Love, much love. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Speaking of acting, did you like learn anything about yourself while you're in the field with auditioning and being in front of the camera and also like you said producing and stuff like modeling and stuff?
Oh, that is such a good question. You know, throughout this process of auditioning, getting rejected, booking something once in a while, I really learned to not focus on the result. This is kind of like what we talked about earlier with focusing on the process and finding happiness and rejoicing in the moment versus like, I will be happy once I book this and I will be happy once I win this award or this or that, or this gets a certain amount of recognition. I honestly learned, and it did take me many years, but I learned, okay, enough is enough. I am not going to put my life and my happiness in someone else's hands, like a casting director or someone else. And no offense to them, they're great at their jobs, but it's just like as an actor, you kind of have to be okay with not booking something, be okay with rejection. You're humbled constantly. And I started just smelling the roses, just kind of observing my surroundings, kind of just like, wow, this is, a really pretty color. Like, wow, this water tastes so good. I'm just like, wow, life is good. Like, I'm alive. I feel great. Like, look, I have hands. Like, life is amazing. And I started kind of just uh, being more present. That's what it is, being more present. And
Yeah, I love that. Like I like everything that you take, like because like a lot of people don't have kind of like the same opportunities as like everyone does. And like that's like a good thing. Like it's always like you take in the presence of like what you're trying to do and like meeting new people, trying to take a stand because you don't know if this role or something that you make that might change your life forever and might get recognition. So I absolutely love that.
yeah, it's so important. And a lot of people, they're stuck in the past, they're stuck in the present, or not the present, past and future, but they're not living in the moment. And you know what's crazy? I almost feel like I can say I was living my life in autopilot, kind of just like letting the world happen around me, doing my own thing, but I wasn't like really understanding my surroundings or kind of just I wasn't awake. And then I
Yeah.
kind of recently, after being humbled in a few occasions, like I'm like, I need to be happy. I can't. And then I started kind of waking up, and now I just kind of feel more, I guess how they say woke. I don't know.
Yeah, me too, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have any secrets on how you get into a character while filming a specific role?
Ooh, that's a good question. Really good questions. I love these. Okay, so I don't know if it's a secret, but a lot of times when I, prepare for a role, of course, I read the script. I kind of like try to find out reasons why a character does what she does. Why does she dress a certain way? Why does she say this line? What is her relationship to this person? And why is she saying what she says? It's usually just finding out reasons and kind of finding out a backstory. And a lot of times I almost give my own character a little secret just to like spice it up, just kind of like, add a little spice to my performance.
Yeah, a little spice.
Yeah, a little, kind of just something that the audience maybe won't know or they won't find out, but my character knows, and it kind of like adds some flavor to it. But and also before I perform, I do try to get myself into a mindset of just like a really clear and present state of mind. And I learn a lot of things from my Shaolin class, because I've been taking Shaolin and practicing this thing called Qigong. And it's kind of like a yoga mixed with Tai Chi. And I just do a lot of breathing exercises. And that kind of really helps me calm down and get in a really clear state of mind and kind of just like relax and just start playing type of thing.
Yeah, same here. Like when I'm like sometimes like you can feel overwhelmed while trying to prepare yourself to be like acting. And like that's how like when I'm like stressed about doing an interview or trying to like stress about too much going on, I'll be like, the people will ask me like, Kylie, breathe, breathe. Like I'm okay, I'm okay. Like sometimes I just forget to breathe. Like sometimes I just forget, oh, it's in my mind. You need to calm down, relax, and just you'll be okay. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Like Gina Rodriguez says in Jane the Virgin, in Halle, Halle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. You played some amazing roles throughout your career. What role has meant the most to you?
And it truly has been the one that I just did in the Lifetime movie. I just really like that role I had. My character basically, she goes to a really preppy high school. She's from a poor family, but she's able to go because her mother is a teacher there. And she wins a scholarship, a very good scholarship, like 200K. And there's a lot of jealousy surrounding that. But she's overall just a good girl. She's a good student. She's a good person, good friend, good daughter. And throughout the movie, she kind of gets like harassed. All these things start happening to her, and it kind of drives her crazy. And she starts fighting with her mother, and you don't really know who's doing all this, like who is causing her all this disarray. And it's kind of like I really liked kind of showcasing that sometimes, like in real life, we have confusion going on around us, and we don't know why things are happening or why things happen to people when they just try to do good.
Yeah.
So I feel like my character, I just really like expressing that through her, through Sophie. And yeah, that was just one of my favorite roles that I did recently.
I love that. Is that like the new movie that's coming out? Like the new
Yeah,
show?
that's the one I'm
to see that. Like once you told me that, I was like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see this. Like, what is like the audition process like for you when you're like auditioning for like a movie or show?
So a couple of years ago before COVID, we just used to go to the studios or some casting offices. It was usually like you get your set asides. You have maybe a day, sometimes it's the day of, very rare, mostly for TV shows, but you get a set asides. They tell you a breakdown about your character, you memorize, and then you just go to the audition at your given time slot, you do it, and then you leave. I used to be really busy. I used to have like 3 auditions a day, callback, this, that. It used to be crazy, but now everything's kind of changed. You do self-tapes. So you don't really go anymore into the audition. Very rarely. I don't think anyone's doing that right now. Maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't gone physically in as of the last year, maybe just for 1 or 2 projects because of COVID. So we all do self-tapes at home. And it's kind of cool because by doing self-tapes at home, you have more takes. Like you send in what you want them to see instead of like going in there maybe stumbling on a word and then it's just like oops, like that's it.
Yeah.
Like can't really oops.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like is there like any like audition that you didn't get, like the like movie or like TV show was like a big hit in the box office?
Oh yeah, I mean, I came this close to so many roles. Well, there was this role for 24 Legacy. I kind of forget the character's name, but it was a recurring role. I had like 3 callbacks. I was super close. It was just between me, maybe 1 or 2 other people. That one I did not get. There was an audition that I did for oh, have you seen the show the one with Catriona Balfe on Stars? It's not the Highlander. Do you know what I'm talking about? Outlander. Outlander.
Yeah.
It's such a good show. Yeah, to be their daughter, I got pretty close to that one. And then I auditioned for X-Men before. I've auditioned for a lot of leading roles that I really would have wanted, but God, the universe said that it's not my time, and there's something else out there for me, and that's how it is.
Yeah, 100%. Like, did you say like you like auditioned for X-Men?
Oh yeah, that was years ago for the Apocalypse movie. Yeah, wow. But Turner got the role, and she's a wonderful actress, and she did a great job. Great job.
I love it because I actually love like all the X-Men movies because like I'm a huge, if you know me, like my whole family knows I'm obsessed with Hugh Jackman. I'm in love with Hugh Jackman.
Oh, fantastic.
Like,
Yeah, and I love
yeah,
X as well. First,
like it's
I
a
love that
dream like to have him on the podcast with Gina, like Gina Davis. Like those are my two. Like those, like I tried to like, I want like what's it like? I'm like I want them on so badly. Like I remember I actually asked my mom a couple of weeks ago. I was like, hey, she works for Comcast. So I was like, hey mom, can you maybe help me get Gina and Hugh on? Like, is there any way you could, is there maybe a way like for your work that you can help me kind of get them on? You're like, she's like, Kylie, you like that's kind of not the side I work on. You have to go take a different side. I forget what side like you have to kind of work on, but she doesn't work on that side. I'm like, mom, can you like help reach out?
you need to like pull some strings. Mom, come on, use your magic.
Yeah, I was like, mom, can you use your magic? This is the one opportunity I want. And I was hoping you can pull some strings. I can't do everything by myself. I can't do everything by myself by getting no mom. So I was like, mom, help me, please. Like, can you please help me? I need help.
I'll spread the word. I'll let people know, you know? So
Yeah, if anyone that's watching this right now, if you're in the industry or anyone, if you know Gina or Hugh, Gina Davis and Hugh Jackman, reach out to them. Like reach out, have them on this. If if they say yes or anything, reach out to me. All right, reach out to me. I promise. Like I promise this. Do whatever you could. Okay. So
they'll be on. I believe you. They will. They will.
yeah, they will. I promise. It takes time. So like the final question for the interview is, what is some advice for people who would like to be like you one day?
Oh wow. So I would say never, never, never let anyone tell you no. Anything is possible in this world. Anything if you set your mind to it. And just remember that you do not have to compare yourself to others. Every single person who has made it, every single person who is where they are now has had a different set of circumstances, had a different path in life, made different choices, has different personalities, different ways they think. So there's no way you can expect to do the exact same thing another person did and expect the exact same outcome because we're all like actual snowflakes. None of us are the same. None of us. Even if you have an identical twin, you're still your own person. You're still different, you know? So I just say don't compare, don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions. Choose your words carefully. Don't complain. Don't make your mind a fertile ground for negativity. And most importantly is just do your best every day. And then you live with no regrets. You tried your best and be present and just live and enjoy life.
Yeah, I love that. That's like the best piece of advice I would definitely say. And like I was like no one is perfect. Like no one should be like other people, even though people always say be like this, like look like this, like look like this person. I'm like you can look wherever you want. You're pretty your own way. And I have a twin myself. I have a twin brother.
Oh, you have a twin brother. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, he's a minute older than me sometimes.
He's a minute older. Oh my gosh, that's adorable.
Yeah, and like people always like love my brother. His name is Chase, and people always love my brother. I didn't like, and like I get a lot of people use me for my brother because like they think he's HOT. I don't want to kind of say that word like on a thing, but you think they use me for him, all those things. I'm thinking to myself, like, I get that from a lot of people. People tell me, I'm thinking to myself, like, look what you're missing on. Like, why are you missing, using me for my brother? Like, do you want to get to know me, what I have to say? Like, do you want to know me instead of using me for my brother? Yes, you can be friends with me and my brother. Like,
right.
like I'm thinking to myself, like, bro, like, do you know who I am? Like, do you know I can actually help you on things. Like, I'm always make time for people. That's like I care about all my friends. I care about like everyone I talk to, even if it's like no one that I met before. Like I met you and stuff, and like I care about everyone that I talk to, even though if I don't know them in person or I never met them before. I care about them so much, and like everyone even if it's just like family, friends, and like people I never met, I always care about and focus on the person. Like I never try to make people out. Like if you all want to be friends with me, fine. That's fine. Like that's your like that's what you want. That's what you want. But like that's okay. Like that's your personal opinion. That's what you want. All right, that's fine.
See, you can't control other people sometimes. I learned this as well because sometimes I didn't understand why people did what they did. I'm like, why do you act like that? Why do you do this? And at the end of the day, people are all existing in their own world, their own realities, and nothing really at the end of the day is personal. So whatever they make you feel, it's really just it's kind of their problem thing. So just focus on you and remember, you can't you can bring a deer to water, but you can't make it drink type of thing. So at the end of the day, people make their own choices, and you're like, hey, I'm here, I'm a good person, I can help, but you don't have to force anyone to do anything because they're just lucky to have you in their lives. You're a wonderful girl. You're a wonderful
Thank you. You too. So I just want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. You are truly the sweetest person ever. I truly appreciate you coming on the podcast. I had absolute blast having you on, and we'll definitely talk soon. Like where are you based out of? Like, are you based in California?
Yes, I'm in Los Angeles right now.
Oh, really? I actually go down Los Angeles often, actually.
Oh.
This time I come down, like I haven't been there since January last year due to COVID, but next time I come down, I'll let you know. We can do something.
Of course, that's so cool. Where are you? What are you in California? Or
no, I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm in like Wilkes-Barre. I'm 2 hours from Philadelphia.
That's so cool. I grew up in Cleveland, so we're kind of neighbors.
Oh yeah. Next time you're in Cleveland,
my parents are there. Yeah.
Yeah, next time you're in Cleveland, let me know. I can drive up there. We can meet somewhere halfway or something.
I love that, Kylie.
Yeah, so I just want to thank you so much for coming on. You're truly the sweetest, and we'll definitely talk soon. Thank you so much.
Yes, you're wonderful. Many blessings.
Thanks so much, love. Bye.